Okay, we're gonna try to do this video again because I just haven't held the controller in a while since I've been in the hospital, and I had no idea what the fuck I was talking about. Remember, if you like these videos, like, sub, silly, comment, share, support the channel if you want. I saw the haters are already back in full force, so things are back to normal here on the FGC and NBC. I'll give this video, I think a good title for this video might be Context is King, actually, but I'll give it maybe a clickbaity title, something like Why Vegito Sucks and Why Trunks is Too Good, right? But anyway, so I'm going to talk about, what I do in these kind of game theory videos sometimes, and I've showed this example before of why a simple change can have a drastic effect on a game, right? And it would be an easy way, and why there should be counter characters in games, and why there should be, fix the fundamentals of this game, right? But again, let's look at two moves. Let's look at Vegito's Banshee Blast, right? Boom. If, to just look at this move at face value without, knowledge of how the game works, you'd be like, wow, that move is broken. It covers too much of the playing field, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But then when you see, even in this version of the game, the block damage is not scary per se, you know what I mean? It also is interesting because it can teach you, the player, about the game. Because then you see, oh, there's homing dash reflecting the idea of tug of war between homing dash reflecting and fireballs, right? And that's why I've always said that, if anything, I would actually make that move a little bit better, right? If I was actually to tone this move up, I would make the move. Let's get him. Jesus Christ shows you I have not, like I said, I haven't even held the controller in a while, right? I would actually make the move a little bit better. I would make this stuff even a little bit tighter than it is. Because make it a little bit tighter than it is, because then it really forces the player to use the gimmicks of the game. And then, as I've said before, I would even eventually give Vegito a EX Banshee Blast that actually counts as a laser beam, is one of the changes I would give him. But that's one interesting move. And then if we're to look at another move just at face value that seems very powerful, again, context is king, will be Trunks has changed the future. If we're to look at this move in any other fighting game, we'd be like, wow, this move is broken, right? But then you're like, oh, the frame advantage isn't that amazing, blah, blah, blah. There's not real block damage, you know what I mean? So it's not that scary. But the move does have a pretty interesting, versatile thing like that right there, right? And that would be such an easy way to make Trunks a better character, right? People are afraid about putting more traditional kind of zoners in this game. They're afraid about there being more block damage, whatever. But when you make one aspect of a game or a character, whatever it might be, stronger, these other attributes of these other characters become stronger, right? I think Trunks is traditionally not considered a top tier character by any means. Often, I think a lot of people would probably say he's on the lower half of the tier list, right? But he has a very interesting move right here. If zoning and all that kind of stuff was more powerful, if Vegito's Banshee blasted even more block damage, whatever, well, look, you have characters like this that they don't give a fuck, right? These are two interesting moves if you think about the tug of war of the game. We already have this move, already says, fuck you to any fireball. But then you see one of the problems is, look, why is this hitting on a counter hit and it doesn't bounce the guy off the wall? Why don't I get a free combo off of that? Do you see like what a simple change that would make Trunks automatically better? You could make characters like Vegito better, right? You could make this do, I think in this version of the game, does it do triple the block damage? I don't know what it is. It's still not, that's not a lot. It's not like that's a ton, but hey, at least they gave him something, right? That's why I said again, I'm not against zoning, because this game already has many ways to nullify that, right? So let's say if we were to just do boom, send him to do that. Let's get old Trunks here. Well, I just go right through that. Even if that was tighter, let's say it's a frame or two faster, whatever it might be, you know what I mean? Specifically, I've always said that I think this one should be, the grounded version should be the one that should be, quite noticeably better because it just isn't fast enough in the grand scheme of things if you think about the game. But again, this character, he already has fuck yous to zoning. So if zoning is more powerful, Trunks moves like Trunks moves, his place on a team becomes more powerful because he becomes a potential counter character to this shit. And then if the game was more quotation marks real and that was a counter hit, well, man, the guy should bounce off the wall and I should get a little bit of a combo. Would that not in turn make Trunks better? Do you see what I'm saying? Just because you make one character better, you make zoning maybe all better all around. You put in some more traditional zoning aspects in the game. Guess what? Characters like Trunks who have a quotation marks weak mix-up, if you will, you know, they don't have a fast low. You know, I think that is one of the problems people often say with Trunks. You know, hey, he's got a suspect high-low game, but guess what? He also has a pretty easy counter to the zoning characters, right? And I know I'll put in a character like here for Ultra Instinct Goku, like, well, if you make zoning better, isn't this only going to make certain characters like Ultra Instinct Goku more of a threat because then they also are not as affected by this kind of stuff, right? You know what I mean? And I've always said it is better to err on the side of a character being good if they show off the game than not, right? You would much rather have a character be quotation marks broken, quotation marks powerful, if what makes them good in the game shows off the game. And if a character like Ultra Instinct Goku would stay a more top tier character even if zoning became more powerful because he already has attributes that beats that, that's the lesser of two evils. You would want a character that shows off the tug of war between homing, dashing, fireball, and reflecting because guess what? That's an aspect of your video game that the consumer cannot get in any other video game. And it is easily digestible for a common viewer, whatever it is, so they know what they're getting into in the game. And narrative is important in that aspect. Anyway, remember if you like these videos, like, sub, silly, comment, share, support the channel if you want. Again, just trying to go off, you know what I mean? What an easy... I can still do it. It's been, like I said, it's been a while since I've held a controller, but give me a fucking break. But anyway, zoning in the game doesn't necessarily make all zoning characters better because, like Jurassic Park, these other moves that are not as powerful as they maybe could be will only become more powerful. Do you get what I'm saying? Anyway, the end.